captains for your Bobcats. Number 0, a senior, Mason Day. Number 1, a senior, Cole Jackson. Number 58, a senior, Kate Jackson. Number 59, a senior, AJ Hill. Number 61, a senior, Brady Woods. And number 78, a senior, Tyler Phillips.
Once I was 7 years old, my mama told me, go make yourself some friends or you'll be lonely. Once I was 7 years old.
If you're consistently in the top 5 in the state and you're consistently in the talks of potentially winning a state title, you're doing the right things. You're one of the teams in the state that's being talked about that can win it. And that's from game 1 to game, 13, 14, whatever it may be. People know who you are, people know your players, and they know that you have a program that is going to compete at a high level year in, year out. Coming into the year, we had a big focus on, trying to get that program big win. With South Pittsburgh, they're a big name in 1A, long historic program that's been at the top of 1A level. So we knew coming in we wanted to kind of put our program on the map, that we were able to compete for that state, championship. And we had that level of program.
From this area, nobody's been able to get past that team from the little city of Marion County in the playoffs. Oakdale had its shot in '96. Sunbright got 4 tries in the '90s. Coalfield is 0-7 since 1994. It's not the playoffs, but Oliver Springs has a chance to do something no Roane or Morgan County team has ever done: beat the Pirates. From right to left, setting up the screen, and it goes to Day. Day with some running room. Day with Day light. It is a foot race to the 30, the 20, the 10, into the end zone. Touchdown, Oliver Springs. Oliver Springs avenges a loss in the semifinals of the playoffs last season by opening up the season this season with a win right here where that loss took place in November.
That was, we saw history made tonight. We just saw history made tonight. To be the man, you got to beat the man, and Oliver Springs tonight showed that they can do that.
The Yellow Jackets are hoping not to start the season 0-2 after playing 2 teams they soundly defeated just a year ago. How much better will they get from week 1 to week 2? And will it be enough to hang with an Oliver Springs team riding high after a victory from defending 1A state champion South Pittsburgh?
You fight that whole week trying to get your kids back down from that big win to understand and respect their opponent. And unfortunately, Kingston was coming off a loss to one of their big rivals, one of the Roane County teams.
Fakes the handoff to Whitehead. Now we'll throw it back to him. The opposite side of the field. It's picked off by Benton. He's in the end zone. Touchdown, Oliver Springs.
A couple plays where we missed opportunities to kind of put them away early and gave them a little momentum, and then they were able to get a little momentum, feeling a little happy, going into halftime, tied it back up, and we knew we was in for a 4-quarter battle, but we weren't able to hold them. They hit a big play on 4th down late in the game to beat us, and in the moment as a coach you're devastated, but long term it's going to be something that you can grow from. Going back into Harriman, we knew that they were a pretty good football team at that point. We suspected they would be a pretty good football team. They had played us close the last couple of years. But we had a really focused group that week, probably some of our best practices of the year, angry group. And that game didn't start off the way we wanted it to, but man, I think that was the night that Liam Bokey really came alive. And I know he was 15 of 19. I think he threw for over 220 yards, 240 yards, and a few touchdowns, and we just had, our offense started really clicking that night, and our defense played well after giving up some early big plays, and that kind of springboarded us for a big opportunity at a big swing where we played some guys in the region that were maybe in a down year or whatever, and through those weeks you're really just focused on making sure you're finding ways to get better and finding ways to execute.
Give yourself a little bit of time. Varsity guys, you got to come back in locked in. We got a big region game. It's been a long time since we went down to Rockwood and got a win, and it's time we do it. Okay? All right, it's time we do it. Let's circle it up. Let's get a prayer.
Rockwood has had the edge lately, winning 8 of the last 11 meetings, but the Bobcats won decisively 41-21 a season ago. I would argue that it was this very game that helped Tyler Harper's program really turn the corner before ultimately landing one game away from a championship appearance.
Then you go down to Rockwood, and Rockwood's always got a well-coached football team. You battle a little adversity early on, and you're worried if, maybe we're not a really good road team. And you're thinking that maybe through the first couple possessions where they're scoring and then you're scoring, and you're liking where you're at offensively because you're able to match them. You got the homecoming game. Just a hard week overall with all the weather and different stuff. You came out getting a win like you're supposed to. Then you go back on the road and face that little bit of adversity with Midway. Again, similar to Kingston, you get up pretty good. And again, going back to the first game, we kind of handled the adversity well whenever we really needed to buckle down and make a play. Cooper Jones comes up with a big interception. Cooper was the leader of our defense at the middle linebacker position. So him being able to step up and make a big play was something huge for us. And us being able to get a first down and run out the clock and, get away from there with the win. Well, man, what a fun game. Just back and forth, two really good football teams. I saw a lot of growth and maturity from our football team that night. Late in the game, we was able to make a drive. We was down 7. I think Liam Bokey went 6-6 on the drive. Jaquan Benton made several big plays. They end up making a 52 or maybe a 49-yard touchdown to put us within a point. And then we was able to line it up and run it at them and get the 2-point conversion. And one of those that I just wanted to, I felt like our kids had earned that opportunity to go for 2, and they wanted to go for the win.
There is no possible way that you would go for it looks like 8's run out there to kick the ball. Surely to goodness. In a moment like this, I think that they're going for it. They're going to go for the 2-point conversion, going for the win on the road. Here comes their pitch, and it's going to Day, and Day's going to be. He got it. 2-point conversion, good. That makes your score. Bobcats 29, Tigers 28.
How about them Oliver Springs Bobcats, baby? That controversy on the internet about who needs to be number 2, who needs to be number 3. Baby, that's strength of schedule, and we just put them down. Number 5 team in the state.
Wow. The defending champs, week 1, week 8, number 5 team in the state. You guys are rolling.
Well, when we set the schedule back earlier this year, this was the game I circled and said that's what Rivalry Thursday is all about. Number 2 and number 3 in the state in 1A. 2 schools that you can throw a rock from one to the other. It's Coalfield and Oliver Springs, 7-1, 7-1, 5-0, 5-0.
Yeah, this is small town football.
Yeah,
as good as it gets. Coalfield, Oliver Springs for a region title, both 7-1. An exciting atmosphere. Just excited to be here. The people are very appreciative, and they are fired up. And these are battle lines that are drawn.
Obviously, big game, probably one of the bigger games in regular season history of Oliver Springs football. You got the Rivalry Thursday crew, huge crowd, one of the biggest crowds I've seen in the Oliver Springs football game. And so you look at that and you have the disappointment of losing that night. Battling a lot of adversity in the early going. Offensively, we were kind of scoring right with them, but we couldn't get a stop that night. But you've seen our kids continue to fight, and you kind of knew the makeup, the DNA of this group was until that clock hit 0, they were going to play hard. We come out on senior night, have a big night against Greenback. Able to get a lot of different kids in the end zone. It was a nice night. Yeah! Opening round of the playoffs, we get Cloudland here, have a really good night where we get a lot of people, a lot of different kids in the game, and some playing time, and some different kids are able to score some touchdowns. And it was a good night for our program in terms of getting a lot more kids involved and getting them their playoff action, so you're continuing to think about how you're building the program for the long term. Against Rockwood in the second round, again, you're looking for how, this is the first time we've had a chance to play someone a second time, and how did we grow? We felt like we did a much better job defensively that night. Didn't have any adversity early on. We was able to score pretty consistently again, and able to get a win knowing, what was at the next game, and knowing that we had the opportunity to go back and play Cofield again for the second time and the 6th time in 3 years, and at their place. And obviously, you obviously know how things ended and know it didn't end the way we wanted it to, but man, what a football game that was that night. Great atmosphere, 2 really good football programs, and we gave everything we had to get that win. Unfortunately, we came up on the short end of it, and we weren't able to meet our overarching goal of the season, which was to win a state title. But we did end up with a good season, a 10-3 season, a first ever back-to-back 10-win seasons in program history. You take and look at it overall, and it's just a great season for our program and for the kids involved in our program. In this program, we have a duty to develop young men to be better fathers, to be better husbands, to be better men in our society moving forward, and whatever that may be. We hope that they see good Christian men in us. They see the way we pray in front of our families and the way we do things. And again, it's just the big thing is we want to make sure that they see a good example in us, and then they understand that they have a duty moving forward to take lessons they've learned in this program and apply them throughout their life. There was a lot of great moments this year. There was a lot of hard work that paid off. Whether that be from just this past off season or seasons before, build up to it. Looking back, I'll always remember this as that group that, man, they just worked so hard, played so hard, and did everything I asked them to do for so long that I'm just so grateful for them. This team, man, it had a lot of grit. It had a lot of playmakers. It had a lot of, kids that would do whatever you asked them to do. I'll never forget this group. 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. A lot of these seniors were, the guys that got my career started. I started with these guys in middle school. But I look back and I'll remember most all that they've done for our program and all that they've done for my career as a football coach, and all the long time we spent together for long seasons throughout their career. You don't have to judge everything in the moment. They'll get away from one season and maybe look at their whole career and look at the things that they have done for this program, and they'll be able to be super proud of that because they have really taken this program to where we are respected across the state.
I got my boys with me, at least those in favor, and if we don't meet before I leave, I hope I'll see you later. Once